Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is May 17, 2019, and today is Friday morning, so there's no major economic events coming out today. But what a week we've had. Let's look at the Forex markets. Dollar continues to strengthen versus the major pairs. It looks like it's in a downwards spiral for the GBP, the Aussie versus the US dollar. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. Looking at the indices, the Dow, the DAX, the JSC, all bounce today, and we should see and continue to see some volatility there as it's being driven by the news. Okay, a lot of instability politically in the world right now. Now, looking at the commodities, gold retraces and oil bounces. So that might have been the catalyst for the Dow bouncing a little bit. And lastly, looking at cryptos, Bitcoin had a big correction over on the downside last night. As we look at today's trading, we're going to just see what we could salvage from it and see what we can expect from today's trading. But let's take a look and see what we can expect. So the market correction versus the dollar has been widespread. We're looking here at the Euro USD at a 4-hour chart. And as you can see, we kind of broke this area before. However, we did fail to keep above the trend line, okay, as this was a downwards trend line. Now we're trading at 1178 right now, and that's really like a soft landing for it. Okay, you're looking at the Euro USD. The low of the year is 1123, only about 50 pips. I don't think that we're going to bounce too sharply off of this. However, we are trading only 50 pips from the year low. So looking at that, just to give you a perspective of it, on a weekly chart, we're still maintaining this downwards momentum movement. Okay, so if it doesn't break above 1245, we may see it further correct itself down to the 110, 108-ish level. Okay, so do expect that. Now looking at the GBP USD, same story. So this is a, when it happens not just to one, but it's a systemic situation. It's across the board. You could say that the dollar is strengthening. Okay, so 127 is where we're trading at the GBP USD. As we look at the weekly chart, we still have some room to go down there. Okay, on the downside, we're just there at that support level on that trend line. And if we don't bounce, we could, like I said, continue selling off down to the 125-ish level. So that is really our next stop. Now looking at the Aussie dollar, same story. 168, on a daily chart. Let's look at that. That's a yearly low for the Aussie dollar versus the USD. Aussies are struggling with the economy right now, and as such, you could see this further decline. We did short this last week or the previous week. We mentioned that to fade that rate decision. As you can tell, it played out itself very nicely on the downside. Now jumping into the commodities, oil takes gold takes a slide 1300 down to 1287. Like I said, it's choppy trading. I didn't expect it to trend upwards, and so this was a really great fade opportunity right now. But I believe we'll be trading between the 1287 and 1300-ish level. Okay, if we don't bounce today, maybe the next day we'll bounce. But you can see that it's really chopping. It was just a news event that took us, on this little spike here. And then the correctional move was anticipated. We spoke about it yesterday for this correctional move, and sure enough, we got it today. Now looking at oil. Oil bounced nicely from $61 a barrel up to $62.90. And like I said, we're still trading within the range. It's a great range to be trading. And, just to buy a little, to sell a little bit on these ranges, I think is warranted. Now jumping to the Dow Jones, and this is what we're talking about. I mean, on a 1-hour chart, if we look at it, we sold off this morning. If we look at it, we had a nice rally over the last couple of days from May 13th at the beginning of the week up today. We've rallied, about 500 points right now, 500 to 600 points. We're trading at 25,799. Okay, on the upper end of it. Now we do want to see some continued correctness here. However, until we get some sort of clarity with what's happening with China, what the US is going to turn out with Turkey, a lot of political issues in the world that are draining the economy right now. It's not that the economy is not expanding. It's not that the business isn't doing well internationally. It's just that simply there's so many variables, either tariffs issues or political issues, that are weighing down on the markets. Now looking at the JSC, as we had that election or post-election, we had that nice sell-off into post-election, and it's bouncing off of this support level of 50,000. We're trading at 50,329. I'd like to see it solidify here. Okay, that would actually give Hope that it may continue correcting itself on the upside as it's broken its resistance level on the moving average, as you can see here. So I'd like to see it continue moving upwards as we continue into this week. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin. Now, this is really the one. Look at that. We went from 8,000 down to 6,200 overnight. Look at that. Is that a crazy move or what? But this is the challenge of trading these type of assets. They're very, very, very volatile and they're very thin, okay? Which means that they could fall out of bed like it did just now. So this may actually give you a buying opportunity, okay? Because the trend is still upwards, okay? We did hit a resistance level, and this I mentioned to you the other day, right? Right above this 8,100, we had a resistance level, and ultimately that was warranted. Okay, we said that right there, that was resistance level. That's 8,000. Okay, and sure enough, that's what we got. And then we had this retracement. So we're in between the two Fibonacci levels, as you can see here. Nothing really jumping at me to say, okay, really great buy or great sell, because we are, in between these areas. The next real support level is this 6,600-ish level. Okay, so if it does bounce off of that, that might be a interesting place to actually get a little bit more aggressive in it on the long side. But again, it's a very volatile asset. So trade it really small, trade it really responsibly, and really at tight losses, because you don't want to burn your account on the account of Bitcoin. Okay, it's just too thin and too unpredictable with kind of its direction of where it's headed. Yes, it is part of the future, but in the interim, it's still struggling to find itself on a consistent level. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day and a beautiful weekend. Thank you.